يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة. أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. والله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. والله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم. So this was a very last minute, program. Inshallah, I'm going to excuse the low attendance. I'm really sorry. I apologize about this at all. I didn't do this. I promise. This is a little too much. But bi'idhnillah, inshallah, we'll just begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كلام المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة عظيم. صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, O mankind, fear your Lord and be dutiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be dutiful to Him. Verily, the earthquakes or the quakes of the hour are a terrible thing. In the past few months, we have seen and heard of events that require us to reflect on it, that require us to ponder upon the Muslim situation, the situation of the Muslims across the world. We have seen major floods in Pakistan. We have seen the situation in Afghanistan. We've seen the torrential rain in India, in Nigeria, and more recently, the two major earthquakes that hit the Levant region or Levant region. This week has been extremely hard and it has been extremely sad for the Muslim Ummah. And we have seen that many people have lost their lives. As one of the brothers reminded me after Salah, because yes, I was following yesterday's news, and yesterday's update was 12,000. 12,000 people lost their lives due to these earthquakes. And this life, my dear brothers and sisters, in its entirety is a test that someone, and sometimes, tests befall upon us the blow at magnitudes beyond the ability of anyone's scale to understand. It is especially difficult when, for those especially people that are experiencing it, it is even more difficult for those whose families are left back home. And they are here, and they know that their families are suffering. And so, it is at this time that we have to ponder and seek guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about what and about why these catastrophes, and also search for the life lessons that we can derive from them in a meaningful and transformative manner, in a transformative way. The topic of today's discussion, the destructive earthquakes that hit parts of Turkey, that hit parts of Syria this week. And subhanAllah, these earthquakes, they took place within the time of, I think it was 9 hours. Within 9 hours, as the earthquake hit Turkey, it hit Syria. And subhanAllah al-Azim is the final death toll. As we said, already 25,000 people that have died. Right? There's already 25,000 people that have died. And the final death toll, it is expected to be more than that, much more than that. In the tens of thousands. SubhanAllah. And they have caused major damage to the infrastructure, loss of wealth, loss of property, and it forced people to seek refuge outside of their homes in the freezing cold, without food and without water. And imagine the severity of these earthquakes when our brothers and sisters in Syria were escaping war. And they came to Turkey, they migrated to Turkey to escape the war. And they found new homes when their homes were destructed in Syria. They found new homes here in Turkey. And for some, maybe a couple months ago, for some, maybe a couple years ago, they had found a new home, and again, those homes were destructed. And so, and the Turkey's disaster management agency has said, reports of almost, I think, around 11,000 to 12,000 buildings which collapsed, of which 5,000, I think the number was 5,775, have been confirmed to be completely destructed, completely fallen. And even the Turkish president, he declared a 3-month emergency for several of the states in Turkey, several of its provinces. And despite rescue efforts continuing constantly, with Turkey's government having almost deployed nearly 25,000 people on the ground. And just today, one of the organizations that was here for the aid was the Syrian Forum of USA, Syrian Forum USA. They have another additional 12,000 people that have been, that are on ground, helping our brothers and sisters in Syria. And as the search efforts still continue, as these emergency first responders still continue to work, emergency workers both in Turkey and in Syria are completely overwhelmed. And this is an event that has turned the structure or the security of our Muslim brothers and sisters around the world. Yani, they now live in fear. They live in. It turned their safety into fear. It turned their wealth into poverty. It turned their ease into difficulty, and it turned their life into death. And all in the span of a few fleeting moments. A few fleeting moments. And without a doubt, it is a lesson for those who pay attention. And a reminder for those people, those of us who are heedful, so that perhaps they may return to their Allah, they may return to their Creator, they may return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Iman. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that those who die and a building has fallen upon them, they're considered to be shuhada, they're considered to be martyrs. There are many conditions of the martyrs, and that is also one of the conditions of the martyrs. That if a person has died and a building collapsed, or if a person died due to a building collapsing, it should also be pointed out, my dear brothers and sisters, that irrespective of the circumstance and situation, Islam teaches us that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does is most wise, and it is only to bring out more good from the people. This life in its entirety, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has those who feel it. And we mentioned this in the khutbah today. And through these tests, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He forgives the sins of others, and He forgives and He raises the ranks of others. And making manifest which one of His servants are best in the deeds that they perform. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in the Quran, الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. He created the death and life to test you as to which one of you is best in action, which one of you is the best in deeds and performing deeds. وهو العزيز الغفور. And He is the most exalted in might, and He is the most forgiving. The Prophet ﷺ, he taught his ummah to be optimistic and to search for the positives that are hidden within difficulty, and that which at the first glance they appear to be very evil and they appear to be catastrophic. But at a second glance, with patience, we find that these things are a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in disguise. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, عَجَبًا لَأَمْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلُّهُ خَيْرٌ. That amazing is the affair of the believer, for there is good for him in every matter. And this is not the case without anyone except for the believer. This is not the case for everyone except for the believer. If someone or if something good happens to him, then he thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thus there is good for him in that. And if something harmful happens, some harm befalls him, then he shows patience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree, and thus that is also good. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he also told us that through these trials and through these tests, a believer can earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala depending on how he reacts to these tests. He said that verily, with greater reward are greater trials. Verily, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the people, He tests them. And whosoever is pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will earn Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. And whosoever is displeased will have indignation and will suffer the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes these calamities, my dear brothers and sisters, are trials. They are also a means for a believer to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It may be a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him. It may be a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that the higher the iman is of a person, the higher his testing, the severity of his testing. And those who are tested the most are the Anbiya. Then those that are most similar to them will iman, and then those that are similar to them. So the higher the iman, the more the test, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, مَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا يُصِبْ بِهِ. That if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends good for someone, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala afflicts. And one of the religious benefits that can be derived from such a catastrophe is that there is, because of it, there are many martyrs. Because of it, there are many shuhada. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses those who are accepted in the ranks of the shuhada. Those are the people that have passed away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He continues to, He expects them, and He accepts them into the ranks of the shuhada. Allah subhanahu, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he reported that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, "Ash-shuhada'u khamsun," that the martyrs are 5 martyrs. One who dies of a plague, one who dies of diseases in his stomach, one who drowns, one who dies under debris, one who dies under a fallen building, and one who dies in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Muslims, we have to take notice of the phenomenon, of these phenomena, and realize what is happening is, in terms of humanity and at the universe, for the universe at large. This is something that is greater. In the hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that As-Sadiq al-Musnad. He mentioned the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by the name of As-Sadiq al-Musnad. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يقبض العلم. That the hour will not occur until knowledge has been lifted and time passes quickly. The earthquakes increase in number, tribulations, fitna appear, and the harj and al-harj increases in number. Those who are better, they increase in number. Right? And in another narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he was asked, "What else, Ya Rasulullah?" The Prophet ﷺ, he said that al-harj, not al-harj, but al-harj, that will also increase. And the Sahaba, when they asked the Prophet ﷺ, "Ya Rasulullah, what is al-harj?" The Prophet ﷺ, he said, al-harj is al-qatl, killing, overkilling, increasing of the amount of murders that occur in the human history. It is a sign of the Day of Judgment. And learning a narration like this informs us how close we are when it comes to the Day of Judgment. The happenings of these earthquakes and other, forms of destructive disasters and events are the greatest evidence of the astonishing power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For earthquakes, these are amongst, from amongst the soldiers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses to subject His forces. And through them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He causes the human being to fear Him. Through these, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He teaches the lessons to those whom He wills. and purifies those who He raises. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings those who He loves closer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُوَ وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرًا لِلْبَشَرِ. And none can know of the soldiers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرًا لِلْبَشَرِ. But only it is for the reminder of the human being. Yani when they occur, when the soldiers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala occur, it is a reminder for the human being. وَلِلَّهِ جُنُودُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَزِيزًا حَكِيمًا. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belong the forces of the heavens and the earth. And verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Aziz. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is watchful, Hakeem, and He is wise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with these earthquakes, makes clear to His servants a plain reality, a clear reality, that the kingdoms of the heavens and the earth is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The kingdom of the heavens and the earth is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that He is the irresistible and dominant over His servants and His entire creation. It's not just a natural phenomenon or the mere movement of the tectonic plates that make this occur, but it is by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to teach the humanity of us. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to remind the humanity of something. And that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holds the power of all. The appearance of the earthquakes is a reminder for all of us, my dear brothers and sisters, of a different reality that perhaps we too often forget. And that is the Qiyam, the Day of Judgment. The day when the earth will shake. And in its entirety, and not just one part of it. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ يَوْمَ تَرَوْنَهَا. He continues that, O mankind, fear your Lord and be dutiful to Him. Verily, the earthquake of the hour is a terrible thing. The day where you shall see it, every nursing mother will forget her nursing. She will forget her child. And every pregnant one shall drop her load. Every pregnant one shall drop her load. And you shall see mankind as in a drunken state. Yet they will not be drunken, but the torment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be severe. It is not that these people will be, it's not that these people will not be paying attention to what's going on. But they will be in shock, and they will be in awe of what is happening around them. Right? And He says, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. Right? لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ. That is the day that a man shall flee from his own brother and a mother, and from his mother, and from his father, and from his wife and children. يَوْمَ تَرْجُفُ الرَّاجِفَةُ تَتْبَعُهَا الرَّادِفَةُ. On the day when the trumpet will be blown, the earth and the mountains will shake violently. There will follow it subsequent. They will follow it with subsequently. The human being will follow it subsequently. When the earth will start to shake and the earth will be disrupted and destructed from the inside, the human beings will therefore follow it. And the hearts on that day will tremble, and the eyes on that day will be humbled. Right? These are the people. These are the conditions that will occur on the day of judgment. And that is why, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not make us with those people who will cry on the day of judgment. When the day of judgment is occurring. What is wrong with this earth that it is shaking in this way? There's a reason why, for example, we have our, alhamdulillah, we have our monthly class on the signs of the Day of Judgment. There is a reason why these classes, the knowledge of the signs of the Day of Judgment exists. So that we don't forget about the Day of Judgment. And suddenly when the Day of Judgment appears, we say, what happened? What is going on? And we don't know what is going on. As Muslims, we are called, therefore, upon those who are afflicted with difficulty. We are called to support them. We're called upon to care for them. Those who are going through difficulty, and accordingly, to encourage our communities to respond to this disaster with supplication, with compassion, and with generosity. After all, the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ is one body. And as we see the pain of our brothers and sisters across the ocean, we must also feel the pain. Nu'man ibn Bashir radiallahu anhu, who reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, the parable of the believers in their affection, the parable of the believers in their affection, in their mercy, in their compassion for each other, is that of one body. That when any limb aches, when any part of the body aches, the whole body reacts with sleeplessness. The whole body reacts with fear. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said that the most beloved people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the most beloved people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are most beneficial to them. The most beloved deed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to make the Muslim happy, or to remove one of his troubles from his shoulders, or to settle his debt, or to repel him from harm. Right? That he walked with a brother regarding a need is more beloved to me, then I seclude myself to the Messenger. The Prophet ﷺ said that I walk with my brother at a time of his need, then I seclude it is better. Then I seclude myself from the Messenger. In the month of Ramadan, whosoever shallows his anger, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal his love. And whosoever suppresses his rage, even though he could exact vengeance if he wished, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fill his heart with tranquility on the Day of Judgment. And whosoever walks with his brother regarding a need until he secures this need for him, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make his footing across the bridge, across the Sirat on the Day of Judgment, easy, without the Sirat being shaken. This ummah, my dear brothers and sisters, is a nation. It is sent as a light for humanity. Right? It is an ummah that was sent to give and to be forthcoming. To give in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to be forthcoming. And our efforts towards others is not only a means for them, but it is also a means for us. It is also a means of success for us. It is also a means of najah, freeing ourselves from in both, and freeing ourselves from the torments of this world and the hereafter. In the hadith of Hurairah, the hadith that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, whosoever relieves the hardship of a believer in this world, Allah will relieve him of his hardship on the Day of Judgment. And whosoever helps ease one's difficulty in this life, Allah will ease his difficulty on the Day of Judgment. Whosoever conceals the faults of others in this life, then Allah will conceal his faults on the Day of Judgment. Right? And Allah helps His servants as long as the servants help their brothers. Allah helps His servants as long as the servants help their brothers. My dear brothers and sisters, as you dig deep inside to assist our brothers and sisters, as you dig deep inside to ensure the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you do so via a reputable and a very trusted source. For example, in our community, just like last this time as well, when we did our donation drive for Pakistan, when they had their flight. And alhamdulillah, ISGH was able to donate all of the money that was collected. All of the money that was collected, we were able to send all of it in its entirety from all of the centers of ISGH to Pakistan. And years before that, we did the same thing in Somalia. We did the same thing in Nigeria, and several other places around the world. So alhamdulillah, yani find reputable people, find reputable organizations and charities that you trust to deliver your funds, to deliver your hard-earned money for your freedom in the hereafter. Right? That those people actually deliver that money where it's needed. Trusting those people. Yani this is also our responsibility. That you give the money to the people that you trust. You give your money to the people that actually will help our brothers and sisters where the help is needed. Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that there are certain people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created to be at the service of Allah. And people who others flee to for their needs. Such people will be saved. Two people. Yani the same people, but two functions. One, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them for the purpose of service to His creation. And two, that they become anchors for those who are in need. As a leader in your family, as a leader in your community, that is your job. As a leader in your community, that is your job. And so, let us not forget at this point to raise our hands in despair, to raise our hands in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help during the best times of the day, of our days, during the best times of our nights. When we are awake worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praying for them not only as we prayed for them during the Salat al-Jum'ah, praying for them not only when you come to the masjid, praying for them at every moment that you remember them, your brothers and sisters. Praying for them and trying to help them at every moment that you remember them. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu, he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, no Muslim servant supplicates for his brother behind his back, but the angels say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels say, or including adding to his dua, the angels say, and the same for you. So if you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieves our brothers and sisters in Syria, that He relieves our brothers and sisters in Kashmir. He relieves our brothers and sisters in Syria and in Turkey, in Nigeria, in Lebanon, in all the countries in all different parts of Africa, in all different parts of Asia. Then the angels would pray the same thing. And imagine, since you are making dua for each one of those Muslims, and the reward for making dua for all of those Muslim brothers comes to you. But also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve you of that many in the amounts of the du'as that you make for our brothers and sisters, those who are in need. My dear brothers and sisters, because this was a very last event, I know I did receive a lot of messages from our brothers and sisters who are watching online. They appreciated it. But my dear brothers and sisters, an encouragement for each and every one of you that are here today. It's not a lot of you. Everything that you can give, everything that you can give before Salat al-Isha, give in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give to help our brothers and sisters in Syria. Give to help our brothers and sisters in Turkey. Because that is really important. subhanAllah, I mentioned a story from, from one of my friends that when they rescued a sister today, that they rescued a sister earlier yesterday from under the rubble, and as they were taking her out, she requested the rescuer, and she said, "Don't pull me out until you give me a hijab. Don't pull me out until you give me a hijab." So all these helpers and rescuers, they scrambled to find her a hijab. And when they found her a hijab, they gave it to her. These are the people of Iman. These are the people of principle. And the principle is, no matter how hard the calamity is, that you don't give up on your obligation. No matter how hard the calamity is, that you don't give up on the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter how hard the calamity is, that you don't give up on your hayat. Don't give up on your shame. Today, just because we feel alienated from a certain group of people, we are ready to take off our hijab. We're ready to take off our thobes. We're ready to shave our beards. Right? And we're ready to start making excuses and saying, you know what, it's not an obligation. It's not haram for me to go around with my hijab off. And we're ready to do all sorts of great things just for us to be similar, look a little bit more like all these different things. We're ready to do it. And then still, with the freedom that we have, still, we're very easily ready to lose our iman, to give up on our iman. As soon as the smallest inconvenience. You want to know what iman looks like? There was a video of a young boy who was stuck in the rubble. He was stuck in the rubble of the collapsed building. And instead of screaming out at people, instead of doing anything, this young boy, he started to recite the Shahada. And he kept on doing it. He kept on doing it until they finally rescued him. There is a little girl who was separated from her entire family. She was the last one to be rescued, separated from her entire family. And as soon as they rescued her, she is telling her father, "Baba, say Alhamdulillah. Say Alhamdulillah, Allah protect me. Say Alhamdulillah." That's what iman looks like. That's what iman looks like. Iman is not, iman is not what we portray our iman to be. Right? Coming to the masjid once or twice a day, and then for the rest of the day we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what iman is. That's the iman that they portray. No matter how hard conditions get, they remember Allah. No matter how hard the conditions get, they rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the iman. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those people who are steadfast in their iman, who remember Him constantly, and to become amongst those people that even if they are not facing difficulties, they are facing times of ease, and they are facing times of tranquility, we still learn to rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We still learn to rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's gifts. We still learn to rely upon the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We still learn to rely upon the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we beg for Allah's mercy to ease our difficulties and the difficulties. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not make us forget our brothers and sisters who are going through difficulties. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to improve the condition of our iman, to improve the condition of our actions, to improve the condition of our hearts, to improve the condition of our soul. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us in the straight path. The path of those whom He has favored, not the path of those whom He has angered, and nor of those who have strayed. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وعلينا انك انت التواب الرحيم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم.
حي على الصلاة